Okay, September 14th, 10:15 a.m. Okay. Let's see, is this a point and click? Okay, let's see. Welcome, Charlie. Nice to meet you. My name's Matthew, and I'm mainly going to be the man who delivers the bodies to you and helps you with some of the more heavy lifting. Ever hear that joke about the hearse driver? I'll tell it to you when I come by in a bit. Looking forward to working together. I think you'll enjoy working here. Amy's a sweetheart, but she runs a tight ship. Nothing you can't handle, I'm sure. She wouldn't have hired you otherwise. Cheers and good luck, Matthew J., funeral director, Rose and Daughter's Funeral Home. Hello, everyone. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce our new funeral director, Charlotte, or Charlie, as she tells me she likes to be referred to. Charlie's a recent graduate who came highly recommended and is eager to begin her career here with us at Rose and Daughter's Funeral Home. Please take time to make Charlie feel at home within our little family. We'll have a nice catered lunch this afternoon so we can all get to know each other a little better. Sincerely, Amy Rose. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, Charlie, you're new here, so let's explain where everything is. In your office/preparation room, you'll find your commission station, cremulator station, embalming station, and obviously, since you're reading this email, your desk and computer area. I know you have experience working with these stations, so please let me know if you have any questions. Best, Amy. Hi, I guess my subject line to you should be a little more professional now that we are business professionals. I can't wait to get your replies so I can see your fancy new email signature. I love that you were able to land this gig straight after graduating. It sounds super cool. I didn't even know mom and pop's funeral homes were a thing until now. Guess it's just not something I really think about much. I should look more into this, learn more about your world and industry because, as I said, you are now a very serious professional. Speaking of being a professional, my museum gig is amazing. I can't believe someone paid me to move to London and not London, Ontario, serial killer capital of Canada, to work in a museum. Like, take that, everyone said I couldn't get a job with an art history degree. I'll tell you more about it when we Skype. My stories require you to see my face and hear my excellent British accent impersonation. Also, I signed you up for Funeral's monthly newsletter. Consider it a graduation gift / I love you / I'm super proud of you. Love you, love you, love you, Jen L. Cool. This is just a point and click, okay. Oh, I just got another email question mark. Oh, I need to reply to Amy's email. Okay, let's see. Okay. Okay. Well, I've spoken to everybody. Okay, we paid respects. I guess go back out? Well, maybe no. Talk to them one more time? Okay, no, it looks like it just repeats. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I think I've kind of got the gist of what's going on with this game. This week, there wasn't really an article that went well with this game, but we're going to work with what we got because I actually thought that what I read was really interesting. So I read Into the Third Dimension, Unexplored Facts of Player-Character Interaction by Christine, I can't tell if it's Daviault or Daviault. But either way, it was really interesting because it's kind of getting into the idea of persistent NPCs, which are the ones that appear repeatedly, NPCs that appear repeatedly or have a definable role in the world. They tend to be more dynamic, they tend to be active parts of the story, things like that, influence the story. It was kind of, one question was, does the story greatly alter if the NPC is removed? And that was like a great determiner for whether or not it is a persistent NPC or just a normal NPC. And so I was kind of interested to play this game with this reading because you're kind of alone. Like, you have the emails and that's how you interact with the world. So I'm interested to see how the NPCs in this game through emails become how the characters in these emails end up interacting with the story itself. I wasn't really sure what to expect when I was playing this game. Are these eye caps? They are. Oh, it says at the bottom when you hover over it. Okay. Okay, this is interesting. No. Tube? Tube. You act like I know where the carotid is. I'm worried about fucking this up. Apparently that was it. Wild. Okay. Yeah, but so the article or the chapter of this book that I read itself really kind of gets into the idea of, like, it talks a lot about Half-Life 2. And Alex something, I don't remember what the last name of the character was, who's basically like an NPC, who is not just a love interest, but also just kind of the helper character, but they have more agency really than your very stock photo protagonist. So it's kind of like just that sort of dynamic, like, okay, so you've got maybe the haunted house that's got the little girl in it who is the antagonist due to the fact that she's the antagonist, and she's an NPC, but she's the antagonist. Oh, but she's so integral to the story that if you removed her, the entire story would be different. It's like the same for all of them. So the four distinguishing features of it is that they say autonomy, sociability, reactivity, and proactiveness. And they're just kind of like, how well do they interact with the world, and are they replaceable? And so, like, you know, there's a difference. Like, a lot of Skyrim NPCs are not PNPCs. Okay, talk to everybody. So I just think it's an interesting idea, because you're starting to see it, because the author also talks about it in the context of first person shooters, which I think is really cool, because, you know, they are very prevalent in first person shooters, but I see them more in single person narrative games where it's a third person game. Standard cremation. Hey Matthew, this is embarrassing, but it seems I miscalculated some of our income and I don't have enough to pay you this week. Would it be terribly inconvenient if I cut you a check for next week instead? If you need the money urgently, please let me know. I feel terrible about this whole thing, and I can cut you a check from my personal account if need be. I'm so sorry about this. I assure you won't happen again. I don't like the look of this, not one bit. I know you've only been with us for a few months, but maybe you're aware of the trouble Amy has been having. A small mom and pop shop like Rose and Daughters can't compete with the bigger guys. Anyway, don't tell Amy I sent this to you. Also, I'm starving, so I'm going to grab some fast food before taking the hearse through the car wash. 2 birds, 1 stone, and swing back to the home. Do you want anything? A beef and cheddar? I'm going to take the hearse to the drive-thru, of course. It freaks people out. I love it. They get so awkward. Let me know. I'm heading out in 15 minutes. If you've been a long time subscriber to our email, you know Dad, I heard about the misgendering that transgender people are at times subjected to during their funerals. Huh! Look at this game! But yeah, this is like the work email. Every day you like open this up and you see the notifications from your like fellow employees, and kind of see what's going on. You see what your job is for the day, so on and so forth. Yeah, so this is like really just a really simple point and click game. Like, you don't have any dialogue, you don't have any like actual interperson connections, but except for when you talk to the family members. And then like kind of what you get is these emails, and that's your human interaction. So I think the idea of this game, it has PNPCs, but not in the way you'd expect. They don't influence the game directly or the way the player plays the game directly, but checking those emails all the time instead of just like seeing the one you need to do and clicking that and ignoring the rest of them kind of gives you some world building. It gives you directive, and it gives you kind of hints on what the rest of the game's going to be like. I think it's really interesting. I also think this game is really interesting because it's a very straightforward game about death and the way that people, like the way it's handled in funeral homes, and I think that's cool. This game is neat. It's very, like, informative. Okay, Valentine's Day. Let's see, do we have plot? We do have plot. Okay, what's going on? Hold on, I'll get to that in a second. Let's go up. Oh, we've got a computer game going today. Okay, hold on. I'll do that in a second. It is with a very heavy heart that I write to let you all know that Rose and Daughters will no longer be in business. I have no idea how to start this email, and resources at Google told me this would be the best and easiest way to break the ice. Be direct but remorseful, Google said. The truth is, I really don't know what to say. Since my father passed away, I've done my best to make Rose and Daughters warm and friendly to anyone who chose to use our services. It was my memorial to him, the original Rose, in a lot of ways. And you've all become like family, including you, Charlie, our most recent addition. But it's been getting harder to make ends meet. Rent is going up in the neighborhood, and I'm finding less and less I have the energy for this business. There's a lot of competition from other funeral homes, larger corporations that we can take on more. Larger corporations than we are that can take on more business and offer more impressive services. You know the way it goes. So we've been bought, or I sold. Either way, soon, Hillside Heritage Enterprises Incorporated, a company that owns many funeral homes in the city and across the country, will replace Roses and Daughters starting from the beginning of next month. Same building, same name. They're keeping the name Rose and Daughters Funeral Home for tax purposes. Though honestly, I'm trying hard not to just see it as a move on their part to keep up the image that it's a family-run business. I don't know how I feel about that, but I also don't know if there's anything I can do at this point. As on the papers, at least my father's legacy is still intact somewhat. They have a good reputation and have agreed to keep you all on. That was one of my stipulations. I would sell as long as you weren't without a job. I'm sorry I didn't tell you in a more personal way. I would have loved to have had a company lunch, but I admittedly didn't have the heart to tell you in person. This was easier for me. Please understand. Damn. I'm so sorry, Amy. So this chapter brought up something, I wrote this line down. The natural inclination to identify with the main character might be transferred to the more interesting secondary character. That's something I wrote down from that, which basically means, it was talking about, like, you know, Half-Life, Alex, and I thought it was interesting because in this game, Charlie doesn't have a personality. It's implied that she has a very, like, boisterous, loving best friend, but she doesn't talk at all. We know that there is a dating incident that shall not be mentioned. We know that there's that she's a bit goth and morbid. That's kind of what we know. So all of the flavor text really comes from those emails we get.